Well, good evening. Thanks for joining us on this very special occasion. I'm John Gray, and tonight we're going to take a look back at the moment a little TV station that could, actually did, and it jolted the capital region. 40 years ago today, WXXA, Channel 23, officially came on the air. The rest, as they say, was history. WXXA started as an idea, bring something to the capital region that didn't exist.
WXXA was going to be the new kid on the block.
The area's first independent television station.
The viewing of television was not anywhere near as diverse.
In 1982, there were just 3 commercial TV stations, all 3 broadcasting programs from the 3 major networks at the time, ABC, CBS, and NBC. But in August of 1981, Bill Carpenter was picked to head a new company that would bring WXXA Channel 23 to the Albany market. An independent station that, Carpenter promised, wasn't going to be a rerun channel. So in January of 1982, the company made its first and most important hire.
They bring up this guy from Washington, D.C., and he's supposed to be the major domo. And that was me.
That man was Jim Boaz, a veteran of more than 20 years in the business. He was hired from one of the network stations in Washington, D.C., but he had experience in independent startups in Cleveland and Cincinnati. WXXA didn't have a home when he moved here, but that didn't stop Boaz from putting his team together.
We had an apartment in Manan to interview. We had people traipsing up and down the stairs there, and I think that maybe there were people there that suggested or thought that we were not necessarily running the television station, but maybe something other than that.
In 1982, David Allen wrote for the weekly newspaper Metroland. He covered entertainment with David Allen's Grab Bag.
He was in his apartment in Manans, and there were phones all over the place. He was busy.
Most of the employees who were hired were New Yorkers, many living right here in the capital region, but others came from successful operations around the country.
I think my former boss in Chicago worked for him at one time. And she told me, oh, this guy's putting on a station in Albany, New York, and maybe you want to take a look at it because it's, ground up.
Melanie Gehrig was hired as the program director that May. Back in 1982, there weren't many options for TV viewers, and the folks at WXXA knew that.
We had experiences from other stations, and we know that there's a void there. You don't have anybody that's going to show you these movies.
About 2 months before the station went on the air, he told me that he'd spent $3 million on programming. He bought Perry Mason, I Love Lucy, Gilligan's Island, Flintstones, and he bought 2,100 movies.
Over time, the movie library, which was one of the biggest on the East Coast, grew to 3,300.
It was as big as a New York phone book.
The movie library included classics such as The Maltese Falcon, Planet of the Apes, and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Gehrig had some insight into which movies to run.
If something worked in one market, it'll work in another market. So you would find these little gems on certain stations. This movie did a really crazy number for we don't know why. And we would run the same movie maybe in the next book, and it would do just as good.
The most popular movie, War Wagon, starring John Wayne and Kirk Douglas.
I mean, we actually got some ratings that the networks are getting nowadays because we only had the 3 competitors.
Because that's the one thing we could buy within our budget that we knew that we could make headway with.
WXXA went on the air Friday, July 30th, 1982 at 6:45 p.m. Viewers saw General Manager Jim Boaz introduce not only the capital region's newest TV station, but the people behind the scenes who worked so hard to get Channel 23 on the air.
I'd like you to know the attractive family of staff members who brought the station to where we are tonight. They're mostly your friends and neighbors from the area, and they are just great.
Love at first sight, 23.
It was important to me that we say to the public that these are the people that represent the station.
It was a theme that Jim Boaz would repeat throughout his 5 years at the helm of WXXA.
It's love at first sight. WXXA 23.
We didn't have a plan. We were ad-libbing.
The ad-libbing produced an iconic opening weekend, 23 movies over 3 days. The regular schedule started on Monday morning, a mix of cartoons, popular reruns including Bonanza, Bewitched, and The Twilight Zone, and of course, all those movies, from romance to horror.
The hour is late. Turn out the lights and draw close to the glow of your television set because it's time for WXXA's Theater Bazaar.
Jim Boaz said, we're going to give the people what they want. He said, I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. He said, we're going to give them entertainment.
Stay with us now for Frankenstein 1970.
And there was plenty of entertainment on the air and behind the scenes.
And I worked in other places after that, and that was the one that I remember the most, where everybody was, had so much fun.
When it came to promoting the station or their product, WXXA never said no to an opportunity, such as Leave It to Beaver.
I mean, that was one of the shows I was running. I thought, God, that kid, dark hair, round face. There's a lot of kids that look like him. So we did this contest, and there were people showing up, the old blonde-haired kids showing up and everything.
And the tongue-in-cheek protest after their competitors announced they had better support from advertisers following the first ratings book.
We held signs up out there and walked around the street and said, the big stations are upset with us because we're here to stay.
There are people are riding down Central Avenue and watching, see what the heck's going on here. Unfair to the biggies and stuff like that.
It was that sort of belief, bravado, carried us a long way.
WXXA 23.
WXXA's slogan was Love at First Sight, and for many viewers, it was true. Early ratings showed people were watching, and the other stations started to take notice.
I heard a conversation about how a supplier of programming wasn't happy with one of the network stations. And Jim Boaz said, that's okay, we'll take it, we'll do it.
We never had a doubt about that station making a place for itself in Albany.
And no one had any doubt what Jim Boaz thought about his employees.
It was like family, These are your friends and neighbors, and this is the whole theme of what he was doing.
And they were the ones, it was not me, they took direction and said, okay, I'm buying into this. But it was them, and I wanted them to be known.
Jim Boaz left WXXA after 5 years at the helm, but the dedication and the creativity from the staff didn't skip a beat. Case in point.
Now let's see, where's that book I was looking for? Alphabetical order. Oh, yeah.
He kept the generation of kids laughing and smiling. Coming up, we're going to catch up with the one and only Ranger Danger.
WXXA Fox 23, the new home of the New York Giants.
And later, how Fox and football transformed a little station into a network powerhouse. By the way, we're not the only ones impressed by WXXA's 40th birthday. So's Hollywood.
Hey Capital Region, I'm Gordon Ramsay. Happy 40th anniversary to your hometown station, WXXA Fox 23.
40 years on the air. That's amazing. Happy anniversary.
Hey, Capital Region, Fox 23 is celebrating their 40th anniversary. Congratulations.
Welcome back. A lot has changed at WXXA over 40 years, but one thing hasn't. We always ran commercials. Take a look at these, see if these bring back some memories.
TGIF. Thank goodness it's February. A whole month of eye-popping rebates at your Magnavox dealer. Factory rebates from $20 to $100 on selected Magnavox color TVs, most with remote control.
Homeowners, we've beaten high prices on home siding. I'm Marty Lewin, and I'm taking off my boxing gloves to show you that with Martin Aluminum, the fight against high prices is over.
Hi again, Mark Smith, Smith Pontiac. It's our President's Day Midnight Madness sale. We've chopped all our prices and 11.9 financing, too. So if you're out buying a car this weekend, stop in, pick up a free Walkman-type stereo.
11.9 financing. That was great in the day. For a TV station to flourish and last 40 years, you need some interesting characters. And in the history of Fox 23, nobody, and I mean nobody's more memorable than Gary Locatelli, known to a generation of kids as Ranger Danger.
Hey there, Rangeroos. We're at the Rotterdam Square Carousel. You know, you can have a lot of fun when you're at the mall. But when you're riding the wild stallions, you gotta hang on with both hands. Bye!
Whether you were 4 or 104, you couldn't help but laugh when you saw Ranger Danger.
There's another safety tip from the Fox 23 Kids Club. Yeah. I believe it started in '91. I was asked to do a special on Fox 23 with the morning show team from Pix 106, where I worked as Uncle Vito.
The special went so well, Fox 23 wanted more.
All of a sudden, one day I got a phone call saying, hey, would you be interested in doing some kids programming? And I said, sure. Well, come in next week, we'll have a meeting.
The TV station wanted Gary to play a kind of silly park ranger the kids would love. So he went shopping.
I went over to the Walmart. I bought the tan pants and the work pants and a shirt and some Timberland shoes and a couple of little a tape that you could write on, which I wrote Danger. And then I went to the Army-Navy store and bought that hat.
Just like that.
Oh!
Ranger Danger was born.
Oh, now this book won't go in.
And kids couldn't get enough.
Oh, yeah. It amazed me kind of how popular it got, so.
Did you have kids come up to you when they would see you out somewhere and say, wait,
oh, constantly. It got to, we had mothers bringing their kids. They find out where I lived and who I was, and they would come down and knock on the door and come to the house and want to, you know, I have an autograph? Can I do this and that?
Forget Barney the Dinosaur or Blue's Clues, Danger was the man. This runaway success raises the obvious question. What was it about Ranger Danger you think that the kids loved?
I guess that he was goofy. I don't know how else to say it. There you go, Sonny. Thanks, Ma. I'm gonna build a better lunch bag. Everybody and their brother wanted a Ranger Danger lunch bag.
Watch for your chance to call in and win.
You'll be the coolest kid on the bus with your own Ranger Danger lunch bag. Oh. This is the last one. I have no more left. This is the only one, and nice. I'm keeping this one.
It's in good shape too. Hang on to it.
Yeah.
Sure, there was merchandise, but what every child really wanted was to hear the Ranger Danger signature catchphrase.
The first few that we filmed was like, all right, kids, let's go back and watch a Fox 23 Kids Club cartoon. And one of the guys that worked with me on this said, we need some kind of catchphrase or something. Yeah, can you think of anything, catchphrase or whatever? And I thought for a minute and I knew I was doing stupid stuff. So I go, how about, yeah? And we tried it in a couple of the skits at the end. And, you know, I'd hit myself in the head with a hammer and I go, hammer, yeah. And that's how it came to be. Okay, Hulk, good talking to you. And you know how we always end. Oh, yeah. All right. Thanks, Hulkster. Goodbye. Oh, yeah.
You know, today Gary and his lovely wife are enjoying retirement. They're still living in the capital region, still smiling when they think of all the children that he entertained over the years. And speaking of entertainment, when WXXA became a Fox affiliate TV station, they knew they'd have a lot of those shows on there like Married with Children, The Simpsons. But did they know they would have this?
This is a Fox Sports presentation.
Fox shocking the sports world when it landed the NFL contract in 1994, how that changed the course of WXXA on a national and local sports level.
All right. All right, you win. You can do your thing.
Really?
Yeah, bomb away.
All right!
Yeah, you may not recognize him there. He's pretty young, but a major Hollywood star got his first taste of TV right here on WXXA, one of several locally produced shows that highlighted the creativity of the people working behind the scenes at Channel 23. As we celebrate 40 years on the air, WXXA has had its share of station IDs. Here's a look at some of them from the early days when the station joined that fourth network.
Catch the excitement, catch the excitement. WXXA TV 23.
Yeah, Fox 23.
23 now. Drop what you're doing. It's on Fox for you.
Cool like us. Cool like Fox 23. Cool like us.
I say, hey, every night and every day. It could only happen on Fox.
Well, they could keep a beat. Now, when XXA became a Fox affiliate, they could start airing those TV shows. Suddenly, they were a bigger player in the Albany TV market, but still not quite at the level of the other guys. As sports reporter Griffin Haas explains, though, a Hail Mary pass a few years later, oh, that changed everything.
In the early days of Fox 23, it was a lot of movies and Bart Simpson. That all changed in the fall of '94.
This is a Fox Sports presentation.
When the NFL on Fox was born.
First they got the NFL, and that was huge because everyone watches the NFL, and that instantaneously lended credibility to the network.
Scott Morlock and Rich Becker are sports pioneers in the Capital Region.
And sports with Rich Becker.
And were there for Fox 23's early days.
Yeah, I mean, NFL on Fox and Simpsons. Those were the two things that put Fox on the map. If they didn't have the NFL, if they didn't steal that NFL package away from whichever network, I think it was CBS at the time, if they didn't steal it away from CBS, you have to wonder where Fox Sports would be right now.
And if we want to demonstrate something, we'll just bring you out here and we'll set up and we'll show you how to throw passes, and Howie will get out here and he'll show you how to make tackles, and Jimmy will show you how to coach, and we'll do all our football activity right out here on our own football field.
Fox also presented the games in a new and fun way, and the success put everything else in motion.
On top of that, you added Fox had NASCAR. You had NASCAR, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they were the network when Dale Earnhardt Sr. was killed. That, you know, again raises the level of interest in the network, and the news products, the sports products, just built off that as, you know, they went forward.
And because Albany is very much a Giants town, having them on Fox 23 gave the local team an opportunity to shine.
On Fox NFL Sunday.
Fox has the NFC package, so all the NFC games, the Giants games, are on Fox. So since it was on our network, we'd drive down to Giant Stadium and we'd cover, you know, there was probably a good 3-4 year stretch where we were down almost every single Sunday covering the games, getting in the locker room and doing those things. And that's a direct result that if Fox hadn't gotten the NFL package, then we wouldn't have been able to do that.
Right.
Football season's over. But NASCAR's revving up. Fox Fast Track.
Fox 23 also launched a show called Fast Track, focusing on local racing, bringing in ratings and revenue.
We got to a point where the NASCAR stuff was, you know, B-block stuff, and unless it was super important, we were leading with Fonda. We'd lead with Albany, Saratoga, or, you know, Speed Weeks when we would go out to Syracuse. That was always huge. We were out there 4 or 5 days. We'd send the live truck out there. It was a really big deal because it's a big deal here. You go to Lebanon Valley or you go to Fonda and you're seeing 5,000-6,000 people in the stands. Those are all people that are watching us. We had that audience.
Fox 23 Sports also made it a point to cover the smaller schools, treating everyone equally.
Our photographers busted their tails to go from corner to corner of this big market to make sure that we had the video that would show and showcase all the athletes.
In the 4 decades Fox 23 has covered local sports, they've always strived to tell the stories behind the box score, introducing you to remarkable athletes and coaches.
I remember a woman, we might have been together in the mall, but we were just walking in the mall and, hey, you guys are from Fox 23. Yeah, that's nice to meet you. I don't like sports, but I like watching you guys. And that's probably the best compliment anybody in television sports can get, because we know 40% of the people turn it off. And if we got that lady to stay past, she's going to watch the rest of it, and now she's a Fox 23 viewer. That's how we helped build Fox 23's viewership.
That they did. Thank you, Griffin, for that report. You know, it wasn't just movies and network television that aired on Fox 23. Station employees got a chance to be creative with their programs of their own. One actually helped kick off the career of one of the country's top comedians today. We'll tell you who that is. He's very young. You'll see him next. In addition to the movies and the Fox shows, those creative minds, former general manager Jim Boaz would like to point out, left their own mark on WXXA. They actually produced some original local programming. One show included an up-and-coming comedian. The show was called Loose Camera, and as the credits rolled, you may recognize one of those actors. Yep, Jimmy Fallon. He was a student at the College of St. Rose back in the day, made his TV debut on Loose Camera right here on XXA. It was a collection of comedy skits produced by Don Metzner. Fallon showing off his comedic skills, playing a new DJ at the radio station WXXA.
It's 6:23 WEZ time. This is Todd Phillips.
And I'm Bomber John Tatry. Yeah, hey.
Okay.
Psyched. Hey.
Ichabod Crane Central Schools are closed.
Man, oh man, that school closes if the principal gets an ice cream headache. But you won't get a headache if you go with WEZ to Maui, huh? Yeah. Yeah, great, huh?
He was funny back then. Another show from Albany to Hollywood. David Allen did interviews with celebrities gathering for the Emmy Awards. Allen says the atmosphere at XXA allowed them to flourish.
It was a place where people could be themselves and have fun, and it was work, but it was play too.
Now, the word play was a very important and a constant theme during the early days of WXXA. The employees worked hard, but they were also encouraged to have some fun at work. And once a month, they did just that, holding birthday parties for the staff and beginning a tradition.
I made the mistake of going across and getting a shirt. It was for our general sales manager, and he was from Arkansas, and he was proud as can be being from Arkansas. And we had to put it on the back of it, Arkansas Fats. And we gave him that thing. Well, once we gave it to him, Jim says, okay, he says, now you got to do it for everybody.
There was also a party for each year WXXA was in operation. So a lot of cake around here. It's been a lot of fun here looking back at these 40 years at XXA and speaking with the people who made it all happen. Want to thank, special thanks to Chip Ordway, Paul Policia, and Sue Kirsch for their work in finding all those old photographs. A lot of them came from a big old book that I guess was in the attic. Videos, articles, all of it helped us put this together. Chris Bulkey, our photographer, and Dave Rush, our producer as well. Want to leave you with the words of Jim Boaz, the man who got XXA off the ground. He'll never admit to it, but he gives all the credit to one of the best staffs he ever worked with. Here's to the next 40 years. Jim?
Thanks for the memories. One of the two best staffs I ever worked with. It was one of the three jobs I had that represented something very special. They learned and they learned and they learned and they learned, and they never stopped learning. We had some wonderful, wonderful memories of people's achievements, and the word achievement was a very major part of what I speak to. It was inclusive, and everybody was welcomed, and the wives were welcome to visit. The children were welcome to visit. And we put no holes on people coming through that door. There was no walls between me and that staff. There was no walls between any one of us and one another. We spent a lot of time at that bar next door having a few beers. So, you know, we made it a business to stick together.